Right, so what we're going to do now is we are going to print this stencil. Got my other one. But what you're going to do is you need to make sure your name and your class is on your stencil, on your paper and your stencil. Okay, because you're going to need both as your evidence to show, how to do each technique. And then you're going to think to yourself, what colours would I like to use? Okay, so we have an array of colours, but you don't need a lot of each. Okay, so I've got my palette here, okay, and I've got my stippling brush, and I'm going to just put a spoonful of red here, and I am going to put a small amount of textiles medium, which means that the print should stay on the fabric. Now this one's a bit old, so I'll probably have to cut this away because it dries up. I'm going to use another stippling brush to get some of this textile medium out. Right, now textile medium is white, but it dries clear, a bit like PVA glue. People do mistake it for PVA glue, but it isn't, it's for fabric. It is medium. So I've got some here, need sort of equal quantities, and you need to sort of mix it together. Okay, you can see mixing it together. Some of them are more liquid. Now what I would say is when you are stippling, you need to have less ink. When I say less ink, I mean don't use as much as you think you should, because some people put too much on and it then goes underneath your stencil. Some of the inks have already been mixed in jars with the textiles medium. Okay, and obviously then you're just going to need your stippling brush. Now what I'm going to do with these two colours is I'm going to first of all make sure that they're not too wet. And I am going to try to graduate the colour to make my stencil a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to use the blue first of all, and remember stippling is up and down, like this. If you brush, it will go underneath your stencil, and then you'll just have blobs and it won't get the correct shape. Okay, so I'm going to do the dark blue at the bottom, and then hopefully I'll be able to work in a sort of purple, and then that will go into red. So that's me sort of trying to have a more interesting effect. So hopefully we get a bit of purple going on. So up and down, trying to fill the space, but up and down. Try not to move your stencil very much. Okay, so I've got my purple, now I'm moving on to my red. So I'm going to hold it down there now because this one's such a big piece. It might move and go underneath. Hold it in place, that's it. Bit of red. There. Going into the purple. Go over the top a bit. And then once it's done, we're going to remove it. And there you can see, there's my stencil and there's my design.